All right, I think we are live. All right, so y'all, today I am at Bald Knob, Arkansas. I'm at the Arkansas Traveler Hobbies, which is on the Union Pacific Hoxie subdivision. I'm just going to kind of see what kind of freight trains we've got coming today. And I'm going to adjust my camera a little bit so that this looks a little better. And there we go. So I'm actually in the middle of a fence, or a gap in the fence. So video from far distance is going to be kind of limited because I got a chain link fence to fight with. Hey, crossed anchors, Brian and Mike. So what you're looking at is the ATCS monitor in here for Arkansas Traveler Hobbies, and this is actually real and live. The green is to let you know that that is the right of way. The red is actually where the block is occupied, and we've got a train coming. So I am going to try to change the layout here so that way we can see what we got going on. And hey, Joe Rader. And there's Mike from Cross Rankers as well. So we'll see what we got here. All right. So it looks like we had a really, really long intermodal that come through. Let me get a few highs out there. I see the Carver. I see Joe Rader, Stray Dog, Dwight Curley, Heath, Humanity Junction. And let's see, I thought I saw Container Man 68. He's in there as well. So I hope everyone is having a good day. So I'm going to change my layout back to this right here. All right. So for y'all that came in during the middle of the container train that come through, this is an actual dispatch and it is live. The green lets you know the right of way. The red shows you the occupied blocks or track. So here in a second, you will see the red go from North Bald Knob up to Russell Junction and so forth. Judsonia is back that way. And then, of course, the tracks over there, you could probably see the one track curving off. That's going to go down to Augusta, eventually to Memphis, Tennessee. And back this way is towards Bradford, which will eventually get up to Sikeston, Missouri. So thought I would try this out and just see what this looks like. You know, giving some people some opportunities to see kind of what comes through the area here. And there's really no other way to tell, you know, what's coming or, you know, when something is coming until, you know, it gets on the screen, which is Judsonia is about 10 miles to the south of me, and Bradford's about 10 miles to the north, and Augusta is about 20 miles to the east. So, Mike, y'all like my new logo? Yes, it looks just like the new logo off of the regular Crossed Anchors logo. It's kind of hard to tell on my phone. And Mike is also on his phone as well. So, and then I think I saw where Heath mentioned, well, how close are you to the tracks? I'm really close. Yeah, probably about 10 feet away. So I'm actually standing behind the fence to make sure that, you know, if a police officer or someone was to come by, you know, I'm not trespassing on Union Pacific private property. But other than that, that's about how close I am. So it's, you know, if we get a train that comes to or goes to Memphis, we might have a good look at it. I'll probably angle it over here towards the signals, which I know we can't see what the signals are from where I'm standing. There's actually a small cut in the chain link fence where I'm at. Probably, I mean, I can put both of my arms out and touch both, you know, both of the poles easily. So, all right. So if you notice, the red has now left Bald Knob where I'm at. I'm actually sitting. Let's see here. I don't know if y'all can see the signals way down there. I'm gonna take the dispatch screen off and see if I can show you the signals a little bit closer. I don't know if y'all can see them down the track or not. It's kind of hard of an angle. But that's actually where South Bald Knob is located. Yes, I am at the hobby shop, the depot, and I'll go ahead and show it to you real quick. And there's the depot. That is the hobby shop inside, and it's actually a museum as well. So if you ever get a chance to come up this way, feel free to visit. Now, I do not work. I'm not an employee of the hobby shop. I do decoder installations on the side. And the owner, Mr. Craig, actually sent me to Durango, Colorado back in 2017 in his place to go tour Soundtrax's facility and actually get trained by Soundtrax themselves back in 17. So, all right, let me get the dispatcher screen back up so we can see what's coming up. All right, looks like we got another one coming on main 1 as well. So I'll have to keep an eye for it. It's been relatively quiet. All right, Stray Dog, you're asking where's that? We are in Bald Knob, Arkansas. It is about an hour 15 minutes northeast of Little Rock, located on Highway 67, 167, or U.S. Highways 67 and 167. But yeah, it looks like we got some red right before Jetsonia, so we do have another northbound train. No telling what it's going to be. Now, I will let you know over in New Augusta, that red section over there has been red the whole time I've been here. I've been here for close to an hour. But we'll see what we get. Now, track speed through here on mains 1, 2, and 3. Well, take that back. Mains 1 and 2 is rated for 55 miles an hour. Main 3 is rated for 45 miles an hour. And then the Y, which is the fourth track from the camera angle, is actually rated for, I think, either 15 or 25 miles an hour. And when a train does go on the Memphis Y, it does get pretty squilly due to all of the, train flanges. But I'm keeping my eye where I'm standing. I can actually see down the track and see if there is a train actually coming or not. It's kind of a hill down there, so I know once I see that headlight, I will, put the main screen on. Now, as far as if a train's coming from the northbound, it'd be a little harder for me to tell exactly where he is at, because it curves. There's a small bend to the left or to the west, so I don't have as much of a distance that way. And it looks like the sun is trying to glare, so when it does that, I might try to adjust this camera a little bit, so that way y'all don't get that. The sun is beaming today. I was hoping to get up here yesterday, but Hurricane Delta had some other plans in mind due to all the rain, so I didn't want to get out here and get wet and get all my equipment wet, with the windy rains. But I will let you know I am so close to the track heap that I had to hold the camera tripod because it felt like it wanted to fall over there for a second. Them double stack containers, man, when they're going 55 miles an hour, will create some wind turbulence like you would not believe. All right, let's see. It's still hasn't made it to Judsonia yet, so it's probably was working off of a flashing yellow, I would assume. So it might take a few minutes for it to get here. Track speed is 55. So, well, I hope everyone has been having a good day and a good weekend. Don't really know much of anything else that's going on. So feel free to chime in and, ask questions if you got any. I can always try to answer them. If I don't have an answer, I know someone who does. But let's see. Still not at Judsonia yet. And I'm pretty sure you probably figured Judd is Judsonia, which is the town just south of us. Now, the Axe monitor, if you're interested in it, there is I think it's a Yahoo group. You can look them up. But if you join the group, you can actually get the software for free. And they have more, depending on where they have servers at, depends on, if you can get live updates. Like here, the hobby shop has a server, and this is the actual computer you're looking at on the screen share is the server. And I know it services all the way from Jacksonville, which is the next section down. I sent you an NCE question via email. Well, unfortunately, I can't check my email right now because I've got this pulled up. So, oh, now I'm seeing a headlight. So that's awesome. We got a headlight coming. All right, so I'm gonna go back and let's get it on the train layout. Now, I will let you know that as the trains are going by, I will not be talking, um, because it's just going to be extremely loud, especially when they're coming on Main 1. And I don't know if you can see his headlights or not down that way, but he's booking it. The crossing gates just on the other side of the depot is going down, so he is going 55 plus. All right. Hello, CSXGE ET44AC. That sounds just like Marty M's issue that he was telling me about, Heath. All right, here we go. All right. All right. Okay. So now we'll see if Union Pacific decides to put anything else up this way. All right. So Heath, Marty actually sent me a text earlier, and I mentioned to him about seeing if anybody local to him had, either NCE or a DigiKey system. I was curious to know if you had a DigiKey system, if he would be able to test his controller with that system. Trying to figure out if it's his controller, which a power cab is the command station as a whole, or if it's, some type of an electrical, you know, connection type issue. So I did talk to him on my way up here for about 30-40 minutes, probably. He was telling me that Roy, Vinny, and Dave BNSF scale came over to his house and was going to check out his new layout. And he said everything did not work. I was like, man, I don't know what to tell you. All right, I'm going to see if I missed any other comments. So we got CSX GE ET44AC in the house. I don't think I have anything else. Have I seen BNSF 7695? No, I have not. Now, I will tell you, we do get some BNSF power in some trains on this rail line, but this is a Union Pacific owned rail line. But it's not surprising to see, you know, BNSF, Norfolk Southern, CSX. Every once in a while, I'll see some KCS and Canadian National trains as well. That's because people are coming to look. No, it don't take a battery. Yeah, Power Cab does not take a battery. The only ones that take a battery are the Pro Cab wireless throttles and the Cab 06 wireless. That is correct, Dwight Curley. The only thing I cannot remember, because I used to have a Power Cab, was if the RJ 12, you know, telephone cable that you connect your command station to, if it plugs in the left port of the PCP panel or the right port. That's the only thing I cannot remember, but I do know that it's specific as to which port it does plug into. Because what I had, when I had the Power Cab before I upgraded to the Pro Cab, I had a USB adapter that used the RJ11 coiled cable, and it would go from the USB adapter to the other plug, and basically JMRI kind of acted as a secondary throttle. So as far as my knowledge on NCE, I know enough to be dangerous, but I'm not a professional or an expert by any means. CSX, I have not seen the NS 1066 today either. Do you know, CSX, do you know if they are in the area? I know there's a way you can track um, heritage units. I'm assuming these are all heritage units you're speaking of. Um, I know there's a website where you can track them all, and it's basically tracked by other, watchers as us. Do you know if they're in like North Little Rock, Arkansas by chance? Because that would kind of let me know if there's a possibility if it's going to come up this way or not. So, Joe, it's actually not Heath that's having that issue. It is Marty Meisner, or Marty M. Um, Me and him was talking about it. He's not getting the red light on his PCP panel, which he would not get the red light unless the Power Cab throttle / command station was actually receiving power. But he said if you take, one of those little wands that detect current in a cable or an outlet, he said it actually shows up that he's receiving power or an electrical current in that power cable. So, other than that, yeah, I told Marty I was going to go live. I told him that's why I was coming up here. And I'm probably just going to stick up here for maybe a couple of hours. Let's see, it is 5:20 Eastern time, so I'll probably stick around till probably 7 o'clock Eastern, and then head on back. Well, I would, Heath, I would actually text him if I wasn't afraid that this would this would cut off. But right now I'm not seeing any more action, so it could be a little bit before we get something else. I would tell you, before COVID hit, these tracks would see anywhere from 50 to 80 trains a day, going back and forth between North Little Rock and Sykeston, Missouri, and North Little Rock and Memphis, Tennessee. I think CSX GE is looking to see if there's any heritages nearby. I heard the Rio Grande was nearby the other day, but I don't know if it ever came up through here. So NS 4002. Oh, we missed it. Where's it at, CSX? All right, take care, Stray Dog. We'll see you next time. Yeah, Joe, unfortunately, if you don't have power going to that PCP panel, when you plug in um, that throttle, which is the command station, I mean, it doesn't help. Collierville, Tennessee. Okay. That's is that between Memphis and Nashville, or is that between Nashville and Knoxville? I think it's between Memphis and Nashville. Maybe close to Jackson. I'm not very I know enough of Tennessee to be dangerous, but I'm not that familiar with it. I only know enough of Tennessee because my wife used to travel nurse, and she was working in Lebanon, which is right outside of Nashville, and she actually stayed in Smyrna. And then, of course, she's got her grandparents that live over in Morristown, which is between Knoxville and Bristol, which I've been over there maybe 2 or 3 times. So I know driving from central Arkansas all the way over to eastern Tennessee, it's an all-day thing. All right. Well, we got some good news. We got something coming from Memphis. So, or is that, no, that might be something lit up for track 2 to go to Memphis. If you look under the green track, you can see what looks like little green flags, and those are actually the signals that they're routing in. So we might have something coming off of track 2 here in a little while. So anything that comes to or from Memphis is, like I said, I think it's 15 mile per hour speed restriction through the Y. And so that will give y'all a real good opportunity to see some stuff. All right, BNSF 5872. It's the 25th anniversary. Hey, Andy Ambrose, welcome. Okay, so Andy did correct. It is the left-hand side socket with the 6-way flat. Heath, you need to get Marty up in here because this is actually Marty Miser's issue that he contacted me and Heath on. Ray Bobel, how's it going, my brother? So for those who are just coming in, the screen share is actually the ATCS monitor. Don't ask me what ATCS stands for, but this is like a local dispatcher screen, and it is in real time inside the hobby shop. And this will actually let us know where the trains are and which way they're going. The green is to let you know, hey, these lines are lined up for a train. The red, of course, shows occupancy. Well, there's Marty M. I guess his ears were burning because we were all talking about him and his NCE issues. So if anybody's got any suggestions for Marty with this NCE power cab, I'm sure he will take any suggestions possible. Marty, you might have to scroll up the chat. So it looks like they've got track 2 lined up for Memphis, but not all the way out. And I'm not seeing any trains way down there in the yard, which is just a little storage yard. If you notice, there's that little track that kind of stubs off to the left of the section that goes to Memphis. That's actually a small yard down there. A lot of times they store containers, but they'll store anything and everything. But most of the time it's containers. And then the red section that's been over in Augusta, where it says New Augusta, that's been red the whole time since I've been here. Ray, doing ops. Man, I'll be so glad when I can get my layout up to the point to where I can start doing some op sessions. About got the Helix finished. Now, Heath, while I got you in here, if you're still in here, do you know if the NCE controllers work on your DigiKey system? Let me know if you don't mind, or let all of us know. Still no more new action from Union Pacific. So hopefully we'll have a train come through pretty soon. We just had 2 back to back, and before that double stack came in here, we didn't have a single train for about 30 minutes. So sometimes they come quick, and sometimes they don't. And of course with COVID, they seemed a little more spaced out than normal through here. Okay, Heath, are you planning on trying to get that for your system? Ray says, I think I finally had the Penn passenger car issues fixed as well. Well, fill us in on that. I know you were talking about it on your vlog that you posted this morning. So Heath is going to be one of those that's going to have everybody's throttle known to mankind. That way he can say he's a NCE guy and a Digitrax guy and a MRC Prodigy man. DK50018. Is that Digitrax? All right, I'm gonna change the angle of this camera and see if I can eliminate some of that glare. All right. All right. Power to the throttle and the track, nothing on the screen. LED on panel not lit, no function out to throttle. I know typically if you have a short, Marty, it's like the throttle will come on and then it goes off and then it comes on and then it goes off. Or my throttle did that. Something to look into. Maybe what you might try to do is disconnect your track feeders from the PCP panel and see if you get any power that way, and then that'll let you know if the track's doing it. That's just a thought or a suggestion as well. Let's see here. Ray had an issue with one coach. Found out it wasn't located right in the body. That's why it kept jumping. Now I have 3 pin passenger trains. Okay. All right, Heath. It looks like Andy's got a question for you. Now, every once in a while, I'll show you this. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it or not. I'm going to go to the big screen so that way I can see it a little easier. All right. I don't know if I can zoom in. If you look, there right past the signal bridge, there's a few buildings, and it looks like there's a Union Pacific truck that's on the other side of the tracks. Every once in a while, you will see them do a crew change. It's not very often, but every once in a while, they will do a crew change here. And typically, when they do that, they'll line the train up on Main 3. So, and then of course, off straight ahead, you have the Memphis Y. Hey, Toyman's here. What's going on, Ron? All right, I'm going to pull that dispatcher screen back up. And, well, it looks like Union Pacific did line a little bit farther back green. So it shows that we should be having a train going to Memphis pretty soon. We'll just have to wait until where it says JUD Y290. We'll just have to wait for that one little bottom piece to light up red, and then that will let us know that we got a train occupying that block. And then it'll take about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the speed of that train, for him to get up here. So now, Ron, since you're in here watching, I'm sure you know these pretty well, but this is live. Green just lets us know that we got the right of way, and of course, red is showing the occupancy. But it's like I was telling everybody else over in Augusta, that one block has been red the whole time I've been here. So I don't know if it's maybe a what they call a high railer. You know, the trucks that ride the rails for inspection. Very well could be. They've been doing a lot of that here lately, especially south of here. but no way to know for sure. I'll try to keep the glare out a little bit. And like I said, soon as I see that block go red and I see the headlights coming over the hill, I will definitely put the screen back up on full. He says, my understanding of the DigiKeys DK50018 is that an interface for your smartphone and the DigiKeys app that lets you do a lot more than a Y throttle. Okay. So how much more are we talking about, Heath? Thank you, Andy. Anybody can actually access it. It's ATCS. There is a Yahoo group. I don't have the exact specs of how to get in there, but there is a Yahoo group that you can join. And there are, servers around everywhere. And this location is a server that actually services from Jacksonville, Arkansas, which is right outside the North Little Rock Yard, all the way up to Bradford on the UP Hoxie sub, and all the way to Augusta, which Y's off, which is known as the Memphis Y or the Memphis subdivision, which is also Union Pacific. These lines originally were Missouri Pacific. It was part of the Carrio and Fulton Railroad, which eventually turned into the St. Louis Iron Mountain and Southern Railway. That was acquired by the Missouri Pacific. I do not know the exact dates. I'm standing right beside the old Missouri Pacific Depot, which I think turned 115 years old this year. So, and like I said, I'll pull it up so I can show y'all layout. Done. So I'm just right on the outside of the chain link fence, but there's the depot, and it is a hobby shop here. So what a better place to go and hang out, rail fan, and have a hobby shop than a old train depot. I do know that the owner is trying to make it an Amtrak stop. We do have Amtrak come through here. The only issue is the times that Amtrak runs through here is about 1:45 in the morning. Probably not 12:45. 12:45 a.m. and that's northbound, and then the southbound train comes through about 3:15 to 3:30. So I would not expect this to be a depot that is heavily used, but you never know. Well, Ray, just let me know when you want to come up this way, or for you down this way. Now, if you do choose to come this direction and you want to ride Amtrak, I don't know exactly where in Pennsylvania you would have to go, but you'd have to go to Chicago and switch over and catch what they call the Texas Eagle, which takes you from Chicago all the way down to San Antonio, Texas, if I'm not mistaken. But I will tell you, there's not much happening here in Arkansas. All right, still don't see any more updates on the screen. Can I give you a tour of the hobby shop? Yeah, I could. anyone else is interested in it. Not much to see really, but yeah, I could give you a tour. Yes, Amtrak does still stop in Little Rock at Union Station. Northbound is right around 11:45 p.m. to midnight. Southbound 3:45 to 4 o'clock in the morning. And that is Texas Eagles number 21 and 22, depending on direction. There is model trains. I'll have to see if it's still open. Because actually, I've got some stuff in there I traded my GoPro 7 for. Got me a couple of pieces of track, a switcher unit. It's a Bachman with DCC, no sound, but y'all know me, I'm going to put sound in it eventually. Hey, CAMP, welcome. And then I got me a couple of flat cars, the really long one, trailer trains. So, yeah, I'll give y'all a tour. Let me unplug here. All right, so y'all are going to have to bear with me as I take my phone off this tripod. So if it gets shaky, I apologize. Maybe it won't be so bad if I've got the big screen still up, huh? All right. All right. Yeah. And do that. Done. All right. So you know, it still has the original sign up there on the front. This is actually the passenger deck. And of course, over the years, we had to make it ADA compliant, so there is a wheelchair ramp installed. Even though it says closed, I still have prior authorization. All right. So over here, we've got scenery stuff. So if you need some scenery, there you go. And of course, we've got different types of knickknacks. Track, this is code 83. Soundtrack stuff in there, more track. Keep going around. Here's all the in-scale stuff. If you're interested, let me know. So there you go. We've got in code 80 down there, code 100 HL, and this does wrap around. We even got Z-scale if you're interested in that. Got a couple of demo layouts. So this is code 100 DCC. We got code 83, which is just DC, so that way we can test in scale and Z scale. Z scale because you can barely see it. Over here we got the O scale. Crossed anchors, this is up y'all's line. We got both 2-rail and 3-rail. And of course, as always, we use NCE for our HO stuff. We got some manure buildings on here too. We got the Piggly Wiggly. I don't know if y'all can see the animation or not. We got a Taco Bell way over there. And I think they might try to run a train here in a minute. So, but this is an O-scale layout. I've got a few buildings I'm going to let y'all read off in your heads. Oh, sorry, Heath. All right, y'all got that one? And I don't know if y'all can see the law firm over there, but it says Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. Attorneys at law, bankruptcy attorneys. Now it looks like we're going to have a veranda with a, is that a Jeep 35? Yep, Jeep 35 right behind it. That's an interesting combination. Now, we've got another layout over here. Oh, man, that did not sound good. So this layout here, he's actually building for a customer. And there's another See if I can turn it on. Oh, there's a power switch here somewhere. If he's got it plugged in. Yep, he does. So he's got some vehicles that's got lights like that truck, that one back there, and of course some of these. I mean, you can see that's lit up, so. Hey, Digger Evans is in. How's it going, man? Up here we got the operations bay, which, if you're inside the hobby shop, there you go. That's the screen I've actually been sharing. So, all right. Run a train to get smoked out at the same time. What's wrong with that? There you go. Which one's putting out the smoke? The veranda? Golly. That's a veranda. Yeah. Oh yeah, I see the smoke coming out of it now. Man, that's stout. All right, over here we've got HO scale stuff and some merchandise like shirts and whatnot. More HO, more HO. We've even got some of the detail kits, mail trucks, cheapies, and then of course some of the nicer locomotives and stuff. And if you like McCormick, there's a McCormick train set he's got for sale too. And then of course we got O scale, Atlas O. We got Rail King. We've got the 8444. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. There we go, 8444, which is the same thing as the 844. That's when they had to renumber it. Oh, there's a GG1. That's not blackjack though. But it's a, I would say that's a Brunswick green. I mean, it's real dark. But that's not blackjack. Of course, got some brass stuff in here as well. If you see anything you're interested in, and I know it's starting to get a little dark. Hey, Steve, welcome. And I know he's got some S scale in here too. So he's been working around on some stuff. Of course, he's got a display of a lot of Missouri Pacific stuff up there. Like I said, this used to be a Mopac depot years ago. So, and of course, he gets a lot of estate sales, and you know, with that, sometimes it's kind of hard to put things in places until it slowly sells down. So, well, that's pretty much all I've got as far as inside the depot. So I got to find out what he did with all my train stuff, because I know I bought some stuff. I'll get it in a minute. All right, back out here. Well, and that's actually not the whole building, Heath, because he's actually got the next room as a museum, and I really didn't want to go in there because he's just got stuff piled up right now. But he's got like a lot of old modern rail memorabilia. And then past the museum, you go upstairs into what's called the old freight room, or the freight depot portion of the depot. And that's where he's got a lot of extra stuff up there for storage, like spare parts, spare locomotives, rolling stock, stuff. He keeps everything. I mean, I'll tell you. So if there's something you're having a hard time finding, it would not surprise me if he has it here. This is another HO layout that he started building for somebody, and I don't know what the plans are. I know it's DC. So if you don't have a layout and you want to get one up and going real quick, I mean, he's got these all the time. A lot of these old railroad guys, model rail guys, when they pass away, their wives are like, "We don't want this stuff no more. Come get it and get it out of here." So he'll end up getting it. So Yeah, I thought so. And, you know, from where I live at, there is a hobby shop closer, but it's just like in a regular store. So I was like, you know, what cooler, you know, than to go to a hobby shop that's in the actual depot. And not just that, but they also try to renovate actual real pieces. Um, and I can show you, and I will tell you the RPO is in very, very bad shape, as if you cannot tell. They're having to strip it down and rebuild it from scratch. But this is an RPO. It's a wooden RPO from 1890, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, 30 years old. And of course, she's got a couple of cabooses out here. I'm not going in them because it's too nice of a day today, and I know the wasps are going to be pretty active. But he's got both a cupola style, which does not have a floor in it because the floor rotted out, so they're in the process of redoing that as well. But these are both old Mopacs units. I mean, the whole thing is just ripped out. I mean, I can do this and show you. I mean, there you go. No floor in this one. But this one up here, I could walk in, but like I said, I'm not going to due to all of the wasp and stuff. But here's your look on the inside of the bay window. You still see the kerosene lantern or the stove and whatnot. It's pretty much all metal. So there you go. Missouri Pacific. And I know he's trying to get a couple of other pieces out this way too. So I guess you could think of it as a hobby shop, a museum, and a railroad heritage center all in one place, where right beside live tracks. So if you're coming for the history, you can come for the history. You can come for, you know, the model trains, or you can just come to Railfan, or you could come to do a combination of any of the three. All right, I'm back in the shade. I can see a whole lot better now. Hey, John 2618 showed up. Welcome. All right, so I'm gonna get that screen back up. Let's see if anything's changed. And survey says no. So they show the track lined up, but nothing in there yet. All right, so while I was walking around, I didn't really get to see the chat so much because the sun put the glare on my screen. All right, so can you the HO side? CSX, what do you mean about the HO side? You want me to run a train on the HO side? No, I've already answered Heath's question on the museum stuff. I know, right? Yeah, where is Jerry? Check out the B&O Museum if it's open. Oh, cool. I wish the Arkansas Railroad Museum was open again. I'd like to go back up there and show it to y'all. Maybe do a live up there one day. Does the red at Y301 indicate an occupied section of track? Yes, it does, Andy. However, that has been red the whole time I've been up here, which I was up here about 30 minutes before I went live, and I've been on at least an hour. So, and that's what I'm wondering. It might not even be a train. It could be what's called a high railer. You know, the trucks that will, you know, straddle a crossing and then they lower their rail wheels down and then they'll just drive on the tracks. That's what I'm thinking it could be. But I can see where they have the line, you know, lit up green, and the green signals show that it's going from Judsonia to South Bald Knob over to East Bald Knob up to New Augusta. John, this is an actual dispatcher screen for this area. I am located right between South Bald Knob and North Bald Knob. So what you see on the tracks in front of you is actually the screen here. When I first got set up, we actually had 2 trains come through back to back. We had a really long intermodal double stack container with a DPU in the middle. And the Jason, is that museum south of the rock next to the wheel shop? Joe, are you talking about the Arkansas Railroad Museum? If so, let me know. But to continue, John, the second train that came through was a mixed freight, and it was on this track closest to us. And I'm having to stay behind the chain link fence so that way I'm not trespassing on Union Pacific property. But I'm only maybe 10, 15 feet away from the rails. So it's really close. And when I've got my phone on the tripod, I have to hold that tripod, otherwise the wind, the turbulence from the train itself is going to blow the phone and tripod over. Joe Rader, the Arkansas Railroad Museum is actually in Pine Bluff, which is 45 minutes southeast of Little Rock. John, this is actually a program you can actually go and find. It's called ACTS, ACTS. There is a Yahoo group out there that you can join and download the software and download the locations that you're interested in. They have literally the whole United States layout in sections. You just have to make sure that there is a server that uploads. For example, if we was to look at the next screen that goes north Bradford, it would not show anything because there's no server that's relaying info on that. This location here only relays information from Jacksonville all the way up to North Bradford and then over to New Augusta. It's a really neat software. And there's a lot of other places in the United States on other rail lines, you know, whether it's BNSF, CSX, Norfolk Southern, you know, all of them. All right, I am going to try to connect my phone back on my tripod. So if it gets shaky, I apologize. John, I bet you FEC is on there. It would not surprise me. I even wanted to say that, what is it, the MTA in Boston? I want to say that was on there too. All right, I've got it back on the tripod. So, and just to kind of, you know, give everybody a quick, you know, because I've had a lot of people come in late. Let's see here. This way that I'm looking at, this is towards Judsonia, or JUD. Straight across, you can see the signals right in front of us. There's a track that's going between both signal masts. That is, well, let me do this way. Maybe y'all can see it better now. Okay, there's a track that's going between the 2 signals. That is the Memphis Y, which goes to Memphis, Tennessee. It works on PC, John. I have not tried it on an iPad, nor have I tried it on a Samsung tablet. But I do know it works on PC. Okay, so the MTA is New York City. Okay. I want to say ACTS does it. And then up this way, it goes up to Bradford on the display screen, but it actually goes all the way up to Sikeston, Missouri. So this is the Hoxie sub and the Memphis subdivision, which also known as the Memphis Y. And I know y'all probably can't see it, but there are signals down that way. Let me go this side of the fence. Y'all might be able to see them a little better. But past the depot, you could probably maybe see the signals. The home signal is lit up red, which is to protect the straight, the diverging, because there is some crossovers over there. Past the turnout, you've got a amber light on track 1, which track 1's closest to us. And then track 2, I'm seeing a red light. So all right. And still we have nothing new. How about that? No surprise. And I'm only going to hang out here for about another hour. I've seen a total of 4 trains today. One on my way home from church, which we had to cross the tracks, which is, I live in a town south of here, between here and Little Rock. It's called Cabot. And I live on the outskirts of Cabot, and saw a train there this morning. And then on our way up here, there was a train at the crossing. Of course, I couldn't get any video of it because I was about 5-6 cars back. And then once I got up here, which is like a 45-minute drive, didn't see anything till I started filming, which is about 30 minutes after that, and we had back-to-back trains. So back-to-back that once the red indicator on the main line went away, it never went back to, oh Lord, hold on, y'all. I hope I didn't lose y'all. Okay, good. I was trying to clear out a thing. There we go. Sorry about that. But once it went, red, it never went back to white. It actually went to green, and then once the train got past us, then we could see that the very first block on Jetsonia, right before Y290, it would have been block Y291, was actually lit up red, which told us that, hey, we got a second train coming. So if you do want to see any train action, once this stream's over with, pay attention to the very beginning, and you'll see a really, really long intermodal with the DPU in the middle, and a pretty decent mixed manifest that I did see some fallen flags on. I saw Cotton Belt on it. I saw Conrail. Can't remember what else I saw on that second train. Yeah, X. ATCS. And you can see that this location is Union Pacific Arkansas Service Unit, Hoxie, and Memphis subdivisions. So, but yeah, I'm hoping we can get at least 1, maybe 2 more trains here in the next hour. Like I said earlier, before COVID hit, we would get 50 to 80 trains a day, both directions. And this is mostly northbound. Union Pacific also has, just a little bit farther east of us, the old Cotton Belt line, which is the UP Jonesboro sub until it gets to Pine Bluff. And then from Pine Bluff to Texarkana, it's known as the Pine Bluff sub. And that's mostly Union Pacific's southbound traffic. This is mostly their northbound traffic, unless they've got a train coming from Memphis, or of course the Newport local that services all the towns between North Little Rock and Newport, Arkansas, will come back and forth up to 3 times a day. Your son lives in Cabot. Okay. Well, next time you come visit your son, let me know. I'll meet up with you sometime. All right, Digger. Sorry, guys. I'm fighting the Sandman. It's 11 p.m. Been a long day. He's going to go to bed. I don't blame him. All right, Digger. Take care, buddy. We will see you next time. Now, Joe, I see where you're smart enough to get out of Arkansas. What caused your son to stick around? All three kids. So what caused all your kids to stick around? Still don't have anything coming. I know they got the tracks lined up. Now, if you notice on the wood, you can see where another track goes from east Bald Knob to north Bald Knob. The only time I've ever seen Union Pacific use that track is when they had a train and they stopped it on the third main right before the switch right in front of you. And the third unit back was the Katy Heritage unit was in the reverse direction. What they ended up doing was disconnecting all three locomotives, pulling it forward, running it through the Y so that way the Katy was the head unit. That's my audio just went weird. Is anybody else seeing my audio being weird? But oh, okay, the wife took him back when y'all divorced. Gotcha. About Arkansas, is that Mississippi that makes them look good? Well, y'all, I don't know what I did to my audio. Oh, let me see here. Settings. Audio. Echo cancellation is out. I've got default speaker. I don't know, y'all. Sounds distant. How about now? It did the same in the hobby shop for a bit. Let me make sure I'm not connected to their Wi-Fi. That could be part of the problem. Okay, y'all still there? I killed the Wi-Fi, so I'm on straight data now. It shows I'm still alive and it's still ticking. Same thing happened in the store. Well, y'all, this is the first time I've tried streaming on my cell phone. And maybe I don't have my phone the right way. Still live, same weird audio. Okay, let me try something real quick. We're going to flip that upside down. All right. See how this works. Distance in a can, okay. All right. Oh, get out of that. Well, guys, I don't know what would be causing it. Nope, still the same thing. I'll be dang. In a biscuit tin, to be precise. Well, maybe I need to use a headphone next time. Or you know what it could be? The only thing I haven't done since I came back out here is I haven't put the power back in. Okay, now I got juice. Sounds like a piece of equipment I used in the service, the underwater telephone. Well, Ray, I'm glad I can bring back your most memorable moments for you. Fixed for a second. Good, good. Good now? Oh, I'll be dang. The only thing I did was putting your hand over the microphone. No, I'm not putting my hand over the microphone. Look, this is the only thing I did was plugged her back in. Bad again, good again. I don't know, guys. Just went bad now, good again. Well, as you all know, this is Heath's fault, so we'll just blame it on him. Andy says it's still good, so I'm getting mixed signals. Is the phone hot? No, it's not hot at all. And it's even in an OtterBox. The old rabbit ears. Good for now. All right. I am going to move this a little further up. There we go. Put the phone on ice. I need some ice. If someone was around here, I'd have them go to the store and get me a bag of ice. Even my Mountain Dew's getting hot. Yeah, Heath. Why'd you break Marty's power cab? Uh, 301. Yeah, Ray, that's what we were talking about. It has been red all day that I have been up here. And I would think that's relatively a short block considering you got two turnouts on it. That's right, John. Can't have warm dew. Well, it's almost empty. I got another one in the truck. But what I'm surprised is normally that little section right there at Y290, that little section to the left of it should also be green to let me know that 291 is also lined up for Memphis. So, and I'm seeing the green. Okay, I'm seeing flashing green signals now. There's one right under Y300. The green signal is flashing. So I don't know exactly what that represents. But that would be the signal that goes towards the red block or 301. So that is correct, Andy, and that's what I've noticed too, because typically that should be a red signal. The red signal above it would be for that Sloan track, or what they call Sloan. But I see a flashing green at Y300, so I do not know what that flashing green represents. So if anybody here can find out, be greatly appreciated. But also on the monitor here, if you've got like a signal mast with two signal heads, it doesn't tell you which signal is green. But reading where it says Y300 to Y301, you can see it's green straight through the track, so that should be the top signal. It's similar, John. It's very, very similar. And so, it's like I was saying earlier, I'm wondering if over at Y301 there's a high railer there. And every once in a while, this software is known to get some mixed signals from Union Pacific. Used to, when we had the Jacksonville through it wasn't Judsonia, but we had Jacksonville up to Judd, the town before Judd, up on the screen as well. It would show the green signals for the dispatcher giving the clear, signal, to go through, but it would never show anything occupied. And you would literally have to wait for the green to go away to know that, okay, there's a train there. But once it gets to Judd, then you would start seeing the red. I don't think it's a signal fault. I know there is some stipulations of what a green signal is, but I do not know Union Pacific's full signal terminology. I know typically, green means you've got the high ball signal. You could pass through at track speed, and that's a solid green. Yellow, or next you would find flashing yellow, which means, hey, your next signal is going to be an approach. Yellow meaning you need to reduce to restricted track speed because your next signal is going to be red. And then, of course, red means you can't pass. But they've also got something for what's called a flashing red. They've got a flashing green. And then, of course, when you get multiple signals, like on track 2 over here, we have a yellow over a yellow, meaning that the next signal that you come to is a yellow or something similar to that. There's so many different. You could just Google Union Pacific signals, and you can find a sheet that will tell you all the different types of rules and stuff, and it gets pretty complicated. I will tell you one thing, UP needs to come back through here and spike some of these nails back down, because a lot of them are starting to stick up. I don't know how long it's been since they've done that. But like I said, I'm gonna hang out here for about another 35 minutes. I'm gonna kill this thing right around the 2-hour mark. So maybe we get a train, maybe we don't. Worst case, if anybody wants to rewatch this thing, I will put in the description that, hey, you got trains until this mark, and then we have no more trains. But I did do a hobby shop tour. So well, I suggest if y'all like this, see, trouble is there is no flashing green rule in the UP manual, only a flashing green with a yellow. So that could be a flashing green and a yellow, Andy. It could very well be, because that is right in front of a turnout, and the ATCS or ATCS is only going to show one signal. Yes, Heath, I will be home in time. You got to remember, I'm an hour behind you. Yeah, Andy, the only place that we got trains going that fast is up in what we call the Northeast Corridor. Here, Amtrak runs 70, and freight is restricted to 55. Unless you do have a empty flat car, and I'm not talking about like a bulkhead flat, just a standard, 40, 50 foot, 60 foot flat car with nothing on it will automatically restrict a train down to 45. Hey, Chuck, how are you doing? And we got John from the Schuylkill River Valley is also in here. Man, y'all have already missed all the fun. I suggest y'all go back and rewatch. But since y'all are both here, I will let you know. This is the dispatcher screen that we have that shows the tracks for this area. Jetsonia is towards the way that my camera is facing, or actually Jetsonia is that direction. Augusta, which would take you to Memphis, Tennessee, is that way. And then Bradford or Sykeston, Missouri is that way. Of course, if you know anything about dispatcher screens, green means you're lined up, and red means you're occupied, and white just means that the track is vacant. All right, Ray, take care. Enjoy your dinner. Let's see what else we have here. And so what I was doing earlier, as when the train got close enough, I would go to the full screen, and that way you can see the train. We've had 2 trains come through at the very beginning of the stream, back to back, and haven't seen anything since. So I would say that first train came in within the first 2 minutes. Very, very long intermodal, had a DPU in the middle. Okay, Marty, I wish you the best of luck on that, man. I really do. I would suggest if you have any friends nearby that's got a NCE system, try it there first. But yeah, man, that's a bummer. I hate that for you that you're going through that. But anyways, if for those who use JMRI, if you plan on doing block detection on your layout, you can actually set up Panel Pro to do the same thing as this right here. But the way that this works is the server is actually inside the depot, and I'm just going to kind of show the camera. There's the depot right on the other side of my truck, and set that back down. And there is a computer in there that relays information from Union Pacific. And this direction over here, it's going to be hard to see because it's kind of off in the distance. But there are some, and I'll do this to make it a little easier on you. But there looks like some white buildings past the signal bridge back there. And that is Union Pacific's. They have a little remote office here. And I have seen them do crew changes. Typically, they'll have the train on track 3 to do that. But and I was saying earlier too. Used to, before COVID hit, we would get 50 to 80 trains a day, mostly northbound traffic. As far as power units, of course, Union Pacific owns these lines. These are ex-Missouri Pacific lines. But it was not uncommon to see any CSX, Norfolk Southern, KCS. I've even seen Canadian National come through here. The only power units I have not seen is Canadian Pacific. And of course, I forgot about Ferromex. Ferromex is another one that I've seen units come through here as well. Now, typically, I would not see a Ferromex train. It would be Ferromex units tagged into a UP train. BNSF would run tank trains through here, mostly northbound. But I haven't seen any of that here lately either. But But, you know, intermodals, auto trains, and of course, your mixed freight. And of course, we do have a local that comes through here as well. And I mean, if you think about it, this really serves two rail lines. I mean, this is a division point for, you know, you got a lot of traffic that goes from, um, you know, North Little Rock up into Missouri, up into Sykeston, and it goes all the way up to St. Louis that way. And I think that's once it hits Sykeston, Missouri, I think it's what they call the DeSoto sub, if I'm not mistaken. But also, you got trains that go back and forth from North Little Rock to Memphis, Tennessee. So from here in Bald Knob south to North Little Rock, it's a double track main all the way. But if you go east of here or north of here, then it goes to single track main. And I heard at one point it used to be triple track main all the way. But I don't know the specs on all of that, if that's actually true or if, you know. Hey guys, I'm going to step away real quick, but I'm going to leave this running. I'm going to pull that dispatcher screen back up. So hopefully y'all can see if anything changes. I've got to grab my stuff outside of the depot real quick before they lock up it. And then I don't get my stuff. So I will be right back. All right, I'm back. Okay, so I guess what I could do is show you some stuff I got from in there. Um, so this is a used piece that he got, but I only gave 50 bucks for it. But this is a Bachman, undecorated, but it's a GE 70-ton diesel DCC equipped. We'll end up putting sound in it eventually. But this is a used piece that he did acquire. Yes, it is still double track in Jacksonville. And there's actually a third track that is a siding for when the local switches cars in and out of the industries. Oh, is my audio going again? Dadgummit. How about now, Joe? Can you hear me? Joe, John, Marty? Man, what is causing my audio to go? Okay, can y'all hear me now? We can hear. No, better. I just made one change, and I know there's a delay, so 5x5 working now. Okay. I tried one thing different. Audio there, good. Okay, so I put it on speakerphone, so maybe that'll work better. Well, that's good to know. Now I know to use speakerphone for the next time. But yeah, like I said, he got this used. I don't know if y'all can see that very good. But I was thinking this would be like a good piece to use for that sawmill complex and just limiting this loco to them and maybe putting in like a team track somewhere. Um, of course, I got me a number 6 code 100 and a 19-degree crossing as well. And if Marty's still in here, he's actually fixing me up with some used track since he decided to convert to in scale. So I'm actually helping him out. And then the other thing I bought, and these are going to be really hard to tell, but these are 89-foot, 4-inch flat cars. And these are Atlas. And I got 2 of them with 2 different road numbers. And they say they're trailer trains, and I think there is the connections in here to put 18-wheelers on them. And the road numbers I got was TTAX 974730 and 974830. So I think that would be really cool to see on the only intermodal I do have is not really any containers, but more or less 18-wheelers. I've got quite a few of those. And so what I ended up doing is originally I bought a GoPro 7 Silver because I was wanting to do something similar as to what Sparky does, have the GoPro going around, his layout. And I found out, well, you can't really stream with the silver version. So I traded that GoPro up here because he's wanting to do the same thing but not stream. He just wants to use it for recording purposes. And so I traded him my old GoPro 7 Silver for that loco, the 2 flat cars, and a couple pieces of track. So I thought it was a pretty good trade. Hey, Steve, 87th PSAP. I know everybody says PSAP, but I know you said PSAP. So what you're looking at, Steve, and anybody else that's new that has come in, I don't think anybody else has come in. I could be wrong. This is an actual dispatcher screen that shows us where the trains are going and where they're at. And I am located in right between South Bald Knob and North Bald Knob. So, thanks, Steve. But Joe, to go back to what you were saying as far as, the double track in Jacksonville, there is a third track there that they use for when switching in the various industries and staging cars for the Jacksonville or the Little Rock Air Force Base. War, Arkansas, the trains are at Ward. Are you talking about Ward CSX or also Waycross? If there's trains in Ward, they should be here in about 30 minutes, which would be about the time I'm leaving. So but y'all, I'm gonna try to do this maybe once a month, maybe if not once a month, maybe once every 2 months. And just kind of see, because I know like Rachel over in the UK, she does it over at the passenger platforms, which is really cool for us Americans to see. But I know a lot of people over in other countries like to see our really, really long freight trains. And even though this, Amtrak does run through here, it runs through the middle of the night, both directions. So the only way I'd ever be able to catch Amtrak is if they are delayed big time. Well, Steve, we did get a couple of trains through here earlier, and the dispatcher has lined up track 2 to go to Memphis. And of course, that red block over in East New Augusta has been red the whole time since I've been here, even before I went live. So I don't know where they're at, but with, if you go back and watch the recording of this, I can promise you within 2 to 3 minutes, um, 2 to 3 minutes, we had a really long intermodal with a DPU in the middle and a mixed manifest freight came through back to back. Steve, that would actually be the Texas Eagle. Trains number 21 and 22. And depending on the day of the week, depends on if 21 is northbound and southbound and vice versa. Well, you're welcome, Andy. Now, Heath, if you was going to mentally prepare for tonight, you should have been doing that this morning. All right, Heath, I'll see you at your live. The only way I'm going to be late is when I get off at my cutoff point and then I see a red block come in at a Judd. Yeah, Heath better walk the dog. Randall Ellison. He actually lives right up the track. Eight pages of notes? Jesus. Why so many notes, Heath? I mean, I can understand if you're writing in like 72 font where you're only getting maybe 10 words a page. Well, Randall, are you up in Thayer or are you over in Memphis? Is this a sponsor he's interviewing? I thought it was Gordy. Or is Gordy his sponsor? I could be wrong. Ask Gordy if he thinks that Scott Moe will become a worldwide phenomenon. Randall, I thought you told me you lived in Thayer, Missouri. But I know where both Mammoth Spring and Salem's located. So, in other words, if Heath was doing his new sponsor, Iron Planet Hobbies, he would have a book written for preparation. Okay, Randall, I got it now. So you're actually closer to me than I thought you were. Well, guys, I'm only going to give it about another 15 minutes to see if we can get a block to turn red up there around Judsonia. Just got back from Memphis today. I take it you had to either drive some engineers down there or rail crew down and probably some rail crew back. I think that's what you said you do for a living. Now Thayer's on that what BNSF sub? Steve, I know where Fairfield Bay is exactly at. That's right off of Greers Ferry Lake. Okay. Or Randall, did you see any exciting trains down that way? All right, Joe, take care, buddy. Gotcha. Okay. Well, Randall, it's like I was telling them. Every once in a while, they do crew changes here in Bald Knob too. But I've even seen them do crew changes in Cabot, just depending on how backed up the lines are. Well, that's very interesting that, as far as this YouTube community goes, I'm the only person that lives around, Jacksonville, which is where the Little Rock Air Force Base is located. But you got Joe Rader, and I think Dwayne mentioned he used to work at the Air Force Base as well. So that's kind of a small world. All right, Steve, take care, bud. Well, it's been a slow, slow Sunday as far as train traffic goes. I've only seen 4 trains, 2 since I've been here. Well, John, I literally thought I had the whole state to myself until now. Randall tells me that he lives on the very northern part of the state. So when you can claim a whole state to yourself, I mean that's pretty big. So not a lot of movements today. There was a loaded coal train tied down at Critco, which I'm assuming that is on the Thayer sub. And when I was down there for a pickup, that ended up being busted and empty passed by the location. Yeah, Roy Smith does have his whole country. That is no lie, Steve. Although Tom is moving close to me. Now, John, I know you're in Florida, but I don't know whereabouts. So, Randall, where exactly is Critco located? Is that um over by Marion, over by Memphis? Okay, Vero Beach, Central East Coast. Okay. Well, I can let y'all know this. I did hear some information today from a pretty reliable source. Um, the guy who owns this hobby shop here, he's also a state congressman or state representative, I guess you would say. But he used to be a federal railroad inspector way back in the day. Lot of knowledge, and he's got a lot of connections. And he did let me know today that the KCS has silently listed their railroad um, for sale. So I don't know exactly what that means. You know, if there's going to be any type of railroad that's going to be interested in buying it, or if they're, just selling to new owners, keeping the name. But I did hear that it is going up for sale. And like I said, he's a pretty reliable source. He's actually that Randall. That's what I heard. Um, he's actually introduced me to Ed Dickens, and for y'all who do not know who Ed Dickens is, he runs the UP Steam Fleet. The 844, used to the 3985. Now since they got the 4014 up, they retired the 3985. But I've met Ed twice, through Craig. But yeah, it is tough times because, like I said, on any given day, these tracks would see anywhere from 50 to 80 trains a day, no lie. 24, through a 24-hour period, 70 to 80 trains, and it's been dead for about an hour and a half. And the dispatcher did line that track up green. Oh, maybe 10 minutes after that second train came through. That's funny. Nope, can only afford an Athearn Blue Box KCS. Now, Andy, are you talking about locomotives or are you talking about rolling stock? Because the locomotives cost a little more than that rolling stock does, especially Blue Box. Yeah, and Randall, that's the other thing. It's like here, it was not just limited to UP Power. I mean, there was CSX trains, Norfolk Southern trains, KCS ran through here. Um, BNSF, BNSF ran tank trains through here. Um, Long tank trains, at least 3 a day. And that's back when, where they were pushing oil a whole lot more than they are now. Um, it's basically a Warren Buffett's alternative version to the Pegasus pipeline, from what I've been told. And I'm trying to think, I've seen Canadian National come through here. Every once in a blue moon, I'd see Canadian National. I do not remember seeing any CP power. And then, of course, you see Ferromex tied to anything. And sometimes you see trains with mixed power. You might have a UP train that's got UP, NS, and CSX all on one. A lot of times you would see a lot of the heritage units come through here. Now, I will tell you, um, I'm trying to remember the hurricane that it went through Florida, the panhandle part of Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, that way. It was earlier in the year. It was before Laura. We saw a lot of traffic pick up here so that way they could route trains around, the hurricane era. Well, Steve, the tank trains that would come through here, the northbound would be bringing oil from Houston and taking it up to the refineries in Chicago. And then they would send their empty trains on the old Cotton Belt line, which is, uh, I would say about 50 miles east of here. And they would send the empties down that way. Yeah. Hey, William. Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing about COVID, man. It's just the traffic, the rail traffic has not picked up at all. It's picked up some. So I can't really say that. But I mean, it is nowhere near where it used to be. And it seems like there's less trains, but longer trains. And, one of the other things that I've heard is Amtrak runs through here day or nightly. I'm going to say nightly because they don't run through the day. But they're always running a southbound and a northbound every single day of the week. And even Amtrak was talking about scaling back to 2 or 3 times a week. I mean, the showstopper has really, really put a hurting on, interstate commerce big time. So William, what you're looking at is a dispatcher screen that is in the hobby shop, which is right beside me. I'm actually standing at the fence line. I'm only maybe 10, 15 feet away from the tracks. The green is telling us what the dispatcher has lined up for us. The red tells us what is occupied. You can simulate the same thing on your layout at home if you have block detection enabled with JMRI's Panel Pro. And they've had a train lined up for track 2 going to Memphis, which that would be towards Judd or Jetsonia, which is really towards North Little Rock. Past the signals is the Memphis Y, which is where the track is lined up for. And then this way would be going up towards Bradford, Russell and Bradford, which would take you up to Sykeston, Missouri. And so we had a couple of trains come through very quick, like when I first started streaming. First one came in within 2 to 3 minutes. Really long container train. Second one came through was just a mixed manifest freight, and um, it has some. It was decent length. Had some pretty cool fallen flags on it. As far as like big box cars and whatnot. But of course, they were flying through at 55 miles an hour, so I'll have to take a recording of this and kind of slow it down to see if I saw anything, neat to share. I do not plan on doing this every week, but I might try to do this maybe once a month or once every 2 months or something. Now, Andy, who do you work for? Do you work for like Greyhound, Megabus? Do you work for like a transit authority or a metropolitan transit authority of some type? All right, now it looks like Union Pacific has taken away the green signal to Memphis, and the red block has just disappeared as well. So that is very interesting. But they've got track 2 lined up still coming from Judsonia. So I do not know exactly what that means. Okay. In Essex, UK. Okay. Steve, I would have no clue, to be honest. But I'm assuming Everett is very close to Seattle. Well, guys, it's hit the 2 hour mark, and if I do not leave now, I'm going to be late for Heath's show. So let's see, it is right at 7 o'clock Eastern time. So I'm going to remind you that in an hour, go visit Heath over at Humanity Junction um, for Sidetrack Sunday. I know he's doing an interview of Gordy, which Heath is a great interviewer, so it's going to be a pretty good show, in my opinion. And, remember Sidetrack Sunday every Sunday. John from the Schuylkill River Valley is the first Sunday of every month. Heath from Humanity Junction is the second Thursday of every month. I'm, the Train Freak is your third Sunday of every month. And of course, Rainbow Bell is your fourth Sunday of every month. And then when we do have a fifth Sunday, we will have a surprise host. So, all right, let's see here. Heath's running today, and so is Nora. I think Nora's fixing to start here. Nora should be starting here shortly. So, which, of course, I'll be driving down the road because it's going to take me about 45 minutes to get home so that way I can catch Heath. So, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Sorry I couldn't get you any more than, 2 trains. So, for all you latecomers, go back and check the replay. And there is a couple of trains there going at 55 miles an hour. And you can see how close I am to the track. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I hope y'all have a great rest of the weekend. And, of course, a happy Columbus Day tomorrow for those who are not having to work, such as me. And y'all be safe out there and happy railroading, y'all. Take care.